Next we're going to be embroidering the facial features just to give it a bit more of an attractive type of look. So we're going to start off by embroidering a nose. To do the nose you're going to need 4 pins to mark off the correct positions. Now we're going to start off, that is your starting chain there where you did the beginning of a muzzle, and you want to go in the center of that 1 round higher to insert your first pin. So your starting row is there and your pin is in the middle just above it. You want to be sure that it's centered between your eyes as a center pin. We're now going to do the tops of a triangle. We want to make a small little triangle, so we're going 2 rounds up and about 1.5 stitches to the right and 1.5 stitches to the left on the same round. You want to check the position of your pins in terms of your eyes to make sure that they line up nicely, and you want to make sure that you've created an actual triangle there. Your 4th pin will go in at the bottom of the muzzle where it joins the head, and it will be in the middle as well. So you need those 4 pins, and then you need a length of black yarn on your needle. I use the longer one that's a little bit sharper because it's easier for me to do the embroidery with it. You then enter at a random spot in the head, and you're going to exit here at that middle pin. And move it out of the way. You do want to leave a tail dangling for tying off later. First step is to create our triangle. So we're now going to go in this side and we're going to come out that side. The 2 spots that we've marked. You can remove the pins out of the way. You're then going back in here at the center and out at the top again. Same pin spots. You can see you've now created a black V. We're now going in here and back out at the bottom to create the 3rd side of our triangle. And that little triangle that we've created is going to be our nose. Now we're going to color it in using our black yarn. Every time we're going to come out at this position at the bottom, but we're going to enter gradually along this line, shifting to the right and shifting back to the left, making stitches on the outside to color in. So we start by going to the top for in, and we come back out at the bottom. That's our first stitch. You want to pull it tight enough that the yarn is lying flat on the muzzle, but not so tight that it's actually changing the shape of the muzzle. And each time you just go a little bit to the side, and you'll see that each stitch you make just covers it a little bit more, creating slightly better coverage with the black. So yes, we're basically coloring in with yarn to create a triangle little nose here. You can see as I go back for the 2nd time, it's getting good coverage now. If you're making a bigger nose on a bigger item, it'll take you a bit longer. You'll need more black yarn on your needle to complete it, but with a tiny nose like a rabbit nose, not so much. And that's our last little bit here. Now you'll notice we've colored in our triangle nicely, but here our line has now gone very uneven with our stitches. That'll happen every time. So what we do is we go in at the corner here, out at the corner on the other side, just to move our yarn there, and then we're going to do a stitch across like that, just to even out and cover the unevenness of the stitches there. And we're going to come out again at our bottom spot that we've been using every single time that we've come out. So sometimes it gets a little bit stuck. This is where your little pliers can come in handy to just help you pull that needle through. Just gives you a little bit of extra grip when you need it. And that gives us a little nose. Now we want to split our muzzle in half. That's where our 4th pin comes in. We're going to insert our needle there where our 4th pin went in, and we're going to exit here where the string's coming out at the moment, to do a large black stitch on the outside of our muzzle. Now it can be a little tricky to maneuver your needle into just the right position. There we go. Okay, so you see we've got our big black stitch here now. What we want to do is we want to actually pull tight, and as you pull tight you'll find that your muzzle becomes a bit more rounded. And we're going to repeat that stitch. And pull tight again. And I'm just going to do this a 3rd time to make sure that we've got it and it's properly tightened. As you can see, it can be a bit tricky. Just keep pushing. You can even pull your body to the side to get it a little bit out of your way. That's much too much up now. As you can see, even a pro can have a little bit of trouble at this point, so don't get too frustrated with yourself. It's perfectly normal. It is a difficult angle to achieve. There we go. That's our muzzle neatly split. Now I just like to tidy up this bottom part of a triangle, so I just take my yarn, my needle through the yarn here at the bottom. So I'm just pushing it under the black yarn. And that just pulls it together neatly. Then go in here again, and this time we're going to exit where we've got this little string here. We can then tie off our yarn. Snip it off short, and again hide our knot inside the head so it's not visible. And that gives us our nose for Bailey the bunny, tiny little cute triangle. There we go. Next we're going to be creating eyebrows and eyelashes. So we're going to pin their position first, starting with the eyebrows. Go to the top corner of the eye and count 1, 2, 3 rows up to insert your first pin. Do the same on the other side, top corner of the eye, 1, 2, 3 rounds up. Insert your first pin. You're then going to count 1, 2, 3 stitches to the right on the same round. You're going to do the same thing on the other side, but this time it's 1, 2, 3 stitches to the left, still on the same round. You're then going to go 1 round down and still 1, 2 stitches to the left. And then from this pin, 1 round down and 1, 2 stitches to the left. Then want to check that you've got it even. So you've got these like 3, and on this side 3. But you see here it's looking a bit more straight, whereas here we've got a bit of a curve, which is what we want. So we're just going to move it a little bit. There we go. Yes, that's our curve that we want to get. That's going to be the positions for our eyebrows. For our eyelashes, your first pin goes in the top corner of the eye, right next to the eye. And you do the same on the other side, top corner of the eye, right next to the eye. Then you're going around the eye, and we're going to go a stitch away from the eye by the bottom area. Round the eye and a stitch away. So those are the positions we're going to be using to create our eyebrows and eyelashes with black yarn. So we've got another length of black yarn on our needle. We're again going in a random stitch at the top. We're going to come out by this pin here on our left to start our eyebrow. You can take the pin out once you've gone through. Remember to leave a dangly tail. We're then going to go to the third one, that one there, and we're going to enter there. And we're going to exit here by the middle one from the eyebrow, like that. So you enter here, exit here. Take the pins out of the way. Getting stuck somewhere. There we go. Now you'll see that gives you a big black stitch, and it's just like a straight line. We want to give it a slight bit of curve, which is why we've got that middle point. So you're on the top at the moment with your stitch, so you want to put your needle to the bottom, and then you want to go under that stitch that you've made, and you want to go back into the same spot that you came out of as your entrance, and your exit wants to be on this side where you're going to start your eyebrow there. Now this is going to create a teeny tiny stitch that goes just around that piece of yarn, and that teeny tiny stitch just pulls it into a slight angle instead of a straight line, like that. So we're going to repeat this on this side. Go in by the far pin and out by the middle pin. Pins out the way. Go under the stitch into the same position, And this time you want to come out here by the corner of the eye so that you're ready to make your eyelash. And there we go. That gives us our eyebrows. We're now going to create our eyelash. Basically, it's just one stitch that follows the shape of the eye, and it's going to go in here. We're going to exit at the corner of the other eye. For this, you want this black stitch to lie next to the safety eye. You don't want it to slip under the eye. So you want to tighten just so that it lies above and next to, like that. I'm going to do the same on this side. Go in here where our pin is, and this time we're going to exit at the top where we started, so that our starting and our finishing tail is coming out of the same opening. And again, we just want to pull tight enough to have it lie next to the eye, but not so tight that it slips under the eye. We can now again tie off. Snip the ends off short. And push the knot into the head. So this is what you've got at the moment. It's starting to get that cute little bunny look. What we want to add now is the whites of the eyes. So we're going to work from this point here, where the black yarn starts to leave the safety eye, to this point here on the opposite side of the safety eye. So you're going to make a stitch with your ivory yarn that just goes around the bottom from there to there. So you need to get a little bit of ivory yarn and just pop that on your needle. Oh, mine split a bit, but that's okay. Don't need very much. I like to come in from the top and start at the inside corner of the eye. Make sure you're right next to the safety eye where your needle comes out. You want to leave a tail dangling as always. And then you want to enter right there. When you exit, you're going to want to exit on the corner of the eye on the other side. So from there to there, as you can see, just pull the needle through. And we let our ivory yarn fall to the bottom of the safety eye. We want to go tight enough for it to lie nice and tight next to the eye, but not so tight that it actually slips under the eye. And that just gives you that effect that the eye has a white, which actually adds a lot to the cuteness of the toy. And we're going to do the same on this side and come out where we originally started. Again, just making sure that our white falls neatly under the safety eye. There we go. So this is the result you should have. We can then tie our yarn off. Snip the ends off short and push the knot into the head again to hide it. And then this is the effect you should have at the moment after you have embroidered the facial features. So that's all the embroidery that you need to do for Bailey the Bunny, and we will then be doing the ears next.